in Richmond, in Charlottesville, Virginia. And it is no accident that they chose Virginia, because as my friend Amanifu can tell you, Richmond, Virginia was the head of the Confederacy. It was the capital of the Confederate States here in America during the course of the Civil War. And what happened in Charlottesville, as I said, is not an aberration. It even goes back beyond the presidential campaign and the presidential primary campaign. Virginia has a long history of racism and racist violence. And in fact, during the civil rights movement, there was so much racist resistance to civil rights that rather than integrate the school, many communities closed down their schools in Virginia, in Richmond, and in other places. So we, who have been following the history of this phenomenon, were not terribly surprised to see that an heinous incident like that could take place. Imagine a person in a premeditated fashion would see a crowd of peaceful protesters. They weren't even on the picket line. They were crossing the street, and that he would step on the accelerator and drive right into that crowd of people. These are the kinds of people that are being embraced by the white supremacist movement in this country. And this was not just an act of bias. This was not just an act of bigotry. This was not just an act of prejudice. This was an act of white racist terrorism in the United States of America. And we need to call it what it is. If it had been committed by a person of Arab descent, if it had been committed by a person who was of the Islamic faith, all over the country, politicians would be condemning this as an act of terrorism. But it was people. And it wasn't just black people. If you see the picture of the person that was hit, when they drove the car into the crowd, it's a white man in the air. He was hit so hard that his shoes were still on the ground. And a black man is suspended in midair in that photograph that was on the front page of the Daily News. This person intended to kill people. He didn't come out there to make a statement. He came out there to murder. And we call, those of us who are gathered here today, we call upon leadership of all walks of life. We call on our elected officials, but not just on our elected officials. We call on our religious leaders. But we don't just call on our religious leaders. We call on our labor leaders. But we don't just call on our labor leaders. We call on our leaders from all walks of life. Now is the time to stand up and take a stand against racism in the United States of America. Now is the time. We can no longer be silent. These acts of racist violence are taking place, in fact, not just because of the evil of people who intend to hurt, but of the silence of people who see this thing and don't say anything about it. If you have any type of conscience, now is the time for you to speak out against racism. Because if we are not careful, these people are not going to, don't think that they are in any way shamed and that they're going to hide. They are going to be calling rallies all over this country. And I tell the people of the United States, don't think that this is just a fight against racism. This is an embryonic fascist movement coming into existence in the United States of America. This is one of the first signs of fascism, when fascist organizations organize to inflict violence on those that they see as their opposition. We are at a very dangerous point in the United States of America. And now is the time. We must not let racist and racist violence and racist acts divide the people. The people, red, black, yellow, white, must unite at this time. We need unity of all the people against this, because they'll be coming after one group today, it'll be another group tomorrow. I'm telling you. So we are glad to stand here today to be a witness, and we have so many here today. But before I close, let me say this, that we are thoroughly disappointed at the level of charges against the person who allegedly committed this act. First degree murder. This was an act of premeditated murder, using a car as a weapon. And I dare say that if a black person had done something similar, they would have thrown the book at him. They would have thrown the book at him. And lastly, I need to say this. Our president is doing, Donald J. Trump, number 45, is doing a disservice to the people of the United States. How could he come to the podium after an act such as this and start talking about fault on all sides? There were no all sides out there. There was one side. The person who did this, and a reporter asked him at the press conference, they said, President Trump, are you going to condemn the white nationalists? He turned his back and walked away. Because these white supremacists, these so-called white nationalists, these people are his base. And what he's doing and what he's saying is not accidental. So we call upon the President of the United States to take an unreserved stand and identify this as an act of racist terrorism. And I'm just going to end on this because we have many people who are here today who we're going to we're going to invite to speak today. Let me say this. It is no accident that Donald Trump was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan. That's why he won't disown these people. He was endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan, but he was also endorsed by the 338,000 member Fraternal Order of Police. Now I know people in law enforcement, and I know that they are good people in law enforcement. But now is the time for the good people in law enforcement to speak out against your leadership that endorsed this type of person to be the President of the United States. Endorsed by the Klan and endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police. And this is the situation that we are faced with here today. So our sympathies and our condolences go out to the family. It wasn't just one person killed. One person was killed, but two other state troopers were killed. And I'm trying to figure out, did somebody shoot at the helicopter? The helicopter crashed. We send our condolences to the victim, to the families of all the people who have been killed. But we also send our condolences. 19 people were injured. 19 people were injured. And this is a disgrace. And I'm so glad to see that so many have come to speak out. And I want to say that the People's Organization for Progress, we're having this press conference today, but we call on everybody to join us at the Federal Building tomorrow at 5 o'clock. As we protest en masse against Trump. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock at the Federal Building, 970 Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey. Be there, because this is not the end, brothers and sisters. This is the beginning of our movement to fight racist violence in America. And I'm so glad to see the mayor of the city of Newark is here today. Give him a big hand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And as soon as the mayor comes over, as soon as the mayor finishes his interview, we're going to ask him to speak, but we also have the president of the Newark City Council, Mildred Crump. I'm going to ask Mildred to say a word at this time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Larry. I want to say good afternoon, but bad afternoon. That's really what I'm feeling. My pastor preached a sermon this morning. And those of you who are in Bethany, you got a sense of indignation and outrage coming from a pastor.
Move forward.
Move forward.
There you go.
His sermon was entitled, "I'm Mad as Hell Today."
Yes.
Of course we were in church.
That's my kind of.
And there were a couple that, like, oh no, he didn't say that. He said, oh yes I did. And he started to talk about Charlottesville, Virginia. By the time he finished, everyone was on their feet because he spoke truth to power. And that's what Pop has always done, and that's what we will continue to do. For the life of me, I cannot call Donald Trump president. I can't put that the word president in front of his name. I still call him 45. I don't know who invented that number. I mean that saying. But 45 is responsible for what's happening around this country. I need to tell you, get ready, folks. Charlottesville is not the end. It's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. And so as activists and those of us who want to see justice take place in the United States, we've got to be active.
Yes,
we've got to put our personal agendas aside and unify. Somebody say unify. And if COP is the leading organization, so be it.
Yes.
If it's the NAACP, so be it. Whomever it is, get involved in this struggle. The administration of this great city stands behind you. And I see other communities represented. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to fight. Because I'm mad as hell today.
All right, give her a hand. Give her a hand. And now, without any further delay, I'm glad to see him here, but I'm not surprised because where the fight is, he's there. And our mayor's here, Mayor Ross Baraka. Give him a big hand. Come on, man, come on. Two mics up.
I came because Larry Hand put out the call, first of all, and as usual, and if we were going to be anywhere today, we should be here. What happened in this country last night was horrible, but it's not surprising, particularly in this climate, and it is obvious that number 45 would not come out and speak against this the way that the president of the United States should. He was very loud and vociferous against Kim Jong-un for his threat of bombs when there are actual people in the United States who have bombed and have bombed churches in our communities for centuries. That at the same time, while he is very loud against terrorism around the country, he should be equally as loud against the terrorists that are homegrown in our country, that have terrorized our communities for decades, even centuries. It is important for all Americans to say very loudly and vociferously that this is wrong, it's incorrect, that we should put it out wherever it is. And finally, we're not against these people because of what they say. We're against them because of what they've done. And that's important. So they try to say we are opposed to the freedom of speech. No, We oppose to church bombings. We oppose to murdering of our children. We oppose to being lynched. We oppose to genocide. We oppose to Nazi fascism. We oppose to all those things. We're not just opposed to people because they're angry or don't like us. If it was a matter of them not liking us, then we could just ignore them. But their dislike has turned into genocide and murder. We oppose to them because they go in our churches and shoot our congregants and our grandmothers and grandchildren in churches and Sunday school. That's why we angry and opposed to them, and that we should stand up against them. The most righteous thing to do is to be loud against the kind of fascism that is growing in this country, and that's important. It's important for us, and not to be afraid to other elected officials to say that we're against freedom of speech. We're not against freedom of speech. We're against fascism. We're against genocide. We're against murder. And we're for our people, wherever they are. And we should be speaking up and out against this. Every pastor, every clergy person, every imam, every person in charge of a Jewish synagogue. Those folks had a Nazi symbol on an American flag. You should be appalled by that, because you know that Nazism ended up in Holocaust and terrorism in Germany and around the world. And so you should be just as angry as we are against what they are doing and representing in Virginia, and all of those people down there who are fighting for our rights and for the Constitution of this country. We stand with them. We're in solidarity with them. And our condolences to those who lost their lives fighting to make sure democracy is real in this country and not just a piece of paper that we learn about in school. God bless.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor Baraka. Give him a big hand. I'm glad we have a mayor that will speak out in a forthright manner. A mayor with activist roots, deep roots. Now, I'm going to call on everybody to speak until we've spoken all the people away. I'm going to give as many people a chance to speak as we can. If I miss you, don't be offended. You can speak tomorrow. If you don't speak today, you can speak tomorrow. But I'm so proud to say that we have elected officials here, not only from the city of Newark, but also from the city of Orange. And I'm glad to introduce Councilwoman Donna K. Williams from Orange, New Jersey.
Thank you. My words will be short. As Larry spoke, I sat back and cried. I was born in 1967, and it was a time of turmoil in the city. And as I come into celebrating my 50th birthday, we are still fighting this fight like nothing has changed. So I encourage everybody, as I looked at the pictures on the news yesterday, I was appalled. And I know what police power is in Virginia, because I'm a kid who went to college in 1985 and hung out at Virginia Beach. And I remember at a time when kids in college went to have fun at Virginia Beach. The police presence wouldn't even let us have fun. So I know what Virginia police can do if they wanted to do that yesterday. So I just encourage everybody to hold people accountable, to stand strong, to not fade to the back, stand up. And even as I seen a young lady who looked in her 20s on an ambulance cart, just distressed. It's appalling that we're going through this again, but I'm glad that young people are taking up their fight and they're standing strong, as we will do. So please, just keep fighting.
Thank you.
All right. I'm also happy to announce that we have Black Lives Matter Newark chapter here. Give them a big hand. And we're going to hear from them shortly, but I want to give due deference to one of my ideological progenitors. I've known her before I knew him. I've known her for 46 years. And in 46 years, she has never wavered from being in the forefront of the struggle of the oppressed. And I'm so glad that she's still with us. Her husband, Amiri Baraka, was one of the foremost spokespersons for black power in this country, and he was the father of the Black Cultural Arts movement. And I will dare to say this, that many of those who hold political office today owe a great deal to Amiri Baraka and the members of the Committee for a Unified Newark, and heading that effort with him was the woman I bring to you now, Sister Amina Baraka. Give her a big hand.
I think the man spoke for all of us. I'm glad you made the call so I could come, and let us meet tomorrow and fight fascism, because this is what it is. Call it by its proper name. This is a struggle. It's an international struggle. This person is going to start a world war. He's not crazy. He's not crazy at all. He's a fascist. Thank you.
Summed it up. Now I'm going to ask a representative. We always have the students speak last, and I just want to thank Street Doctor for helping me put this press conference today. He was calling me last night, called me this morning. We're going to hear from Street too. But we always hold the students for last. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to I'm going to let them choose who will speak for the Black Lives Matter chapter. And come on and introduce yourself and introduce your comrades who are here with you. Give Black Lives Matter a big hand.
My name is Anthony Diaz, representative of Black Lives Matter Newark. I have Hannah and Matt here with us today. I'd like to start off by saying white supremacy is terrorism. Now, I know Brother Ham said earlier, Donald Trump has inspired those to commit these acts and to rally. But you know what? He's also inspired me to stand up. He's inspired you to come out on a Sunday. He inspires each and every one of us every day to either speak our mind in public, speak our mind on Facebook. It's not just about website activism. We need to be active in the streets. We need to be active every day. They are not sitting still, and neither will we. We need to realize that this problem didn't go away then, it's not going away now, and we won't go away either. And it's not just the young people that need to get involved, it's the older people that need to get involved. Every time we have a rally, it's the same people that show up. It's the same people here each and every day. But we need to get those who are at home active. We need to get those who are silence active. This fight is not going away. And we need to realize that. You cannot stand on the sidelines. Every week we say, this is the worst it gets. This is the worst that could happen. Every week. And then you know what? Next week it gets even worse. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to say enough is enough? You have your elected officials here. You have organizations here. You have people that are trying. But it's not enough. You got family members that you probably could have brought today but didn't show up. You got friends that you could have came today but didn't show up. We need to get everyone involved. It's not enough. It's not enough just to have us here on a Sunday. Tomorrow, there's a 5 p.m. Justice Mondays in front of the Federal Building. We need to have people there. When there's a meeting, you need to attend. If you can't attend, get somebody else to go for you. We are in this war together. This is a war. Yesterday was a battle. And we saw what that battle produced. We need to understand that